guys, this is the video log for my experiences with the Ogham Eadha, or white poplar or aspen. And just to quickly touch on some of the meanings before we start, it's to do with overcoming doubt and fear, as well as banishing negative emotions, honouring the dead, and the wind moving through the leaves, the whispering, making it an oracular tree, which is messages from the gods. So here's a couple of quotes. Here is the world, beautiful and terrible things will happen, do not be afraid. Sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly on the path to the best things that will ever happen to us. A lot of frustration is caused when we feel misunderstood. Understanding is the remedy to a lot of anger. The temptation to quit will be greatest just before you're about to succeed. She had not known the weight until she felt the freedom, the scarlet letter. It is both terrifying and amazing. If it is both terrifying and amazing, then you should definitely pursue it, Radia. A little bit more information on the Ogham itself. Conquest of fears involves accepting and embracing one's own personal darkness. This is an archetypal rite of passage that can be seen in the hero's quest in ancient sagas, or the tale of the shaman who must journey to the realm of the spirit world and return with fruits of healing and wholeness for the wider community. Thus fear becomes a friend and ally. My own thoughts were along the lines that Morrigan often tests those to whom she gave or refused her favour. Dagda accepted her love and was victorious over the Fomorians, whereas Cuchulainn refused her aid and lost his last battle and his life. I noticed two little robins in the hawthorn outside wriggling about in the rain, symbolic of them enjoying themselves even though the weather was horrible. And we had one massive thunderclap and lightning flash, change, illumination and power. I love storms, and unfortunately where I live they don't really get going. We had one massive thunderclap. I thought, here we go, we're going to have a storm, and we didn't. So I created the Ever These Wild Odd Woods set, which is really resonating with me, and researched Nirvana as requested, which was no coincidence. Some of the things mentioned of note were her messages of overcoming our inner demons, as well as being connected to Nematona, goddess of groves and sacred spaces. The connection of battle to sacred space is reasonable to me, as land and sovereignty and war are all connected via the Morrigan. Because, for anyone who doesn't understand that, the Morrigan's role was to replace a king who wasn't doing his duty with a younger, more virile king, because the land would suffer, because the land and the king were intimately connected. Symbiotic, basically. In fact, battle is an ideal symbol for this Ogham, be it on the battlefield, journeying to the spirit realm, or an inner battle. We must fight within ourselves. We must harness our fear and drive ourselves with it, not allow it to dictate to us. Sorry, I'm still under the weather. Also, messages from the gods, sacred whispers, can help turn the tide of battle and change our perspectives within ourselves. And where are the gods' words more apparent than in sacred space, particularly in nature, as the druid spaces were and are? There is also a connection over the power of voice. In the main battle cry caused death. Nirvana, brain. The Ogham of whispers, as well as trembling, righteous fear of the gods, perhaps. As you would be afraid of Nirvana's battle cry. Although Nirvana is arguably not a face of the Morrigan, apart from one reference in it, and the idea and symbolism here can just as easily be attributed to Bave, who is, in my opinion, a face of the Morrigan. The next day, message of fuck what they think coming through on Facebook, and that seems apt from this Ogham, setting aside fear and doubt of what others instill in us, and our own fear of disapproval. There's also been a strong fae and sexuality slant to this energy this week. I guess given my past it makes sense. I finished reading Raymond E. Feist's fairy tale, a darker fairy tale with plenty of sexuality involved, which I fully recommend if you haven't read it, and felt inspired to make the dark fae Maleficent orb and kit, which came out beautifully. heavily influenced by hibiscus, and this night before Valentine's Day full moon in Leo, adventurous and sexuality, so all the energies coincide. Also drawn to a certain crystal which I can't afford at the minute. Sad face. Which is connected with Fae energy. And hibiscus, for correspondence's sake, love aphrodisiac, attracts love and lust. Potent divination and dream magic aid. The next day, 14th, feeling the watery energies this morning, which is in keeping with half the energies today, full moon and Valentine's, maybe not so much Leo energies, but still swimming lions maybe. Seen two pictures that have spoken to me already, one in black and white of a woman stood in the sea releasing a bird. She wasn't technically, it was clever camera work. And the tag of letting go of what's gone to clear for the new. And the other one in colour, which was the surf crashing over rocks at sunrise, and it said the cure for anything is salt water, sweat, tears of the sea. Sweat, tears, or the sea. And Nadia shared that. It was absolutely gorgeous. Everything we do is infused with the energy in which we do it. Old Crone's Corner. I'm just going to stop and just touch on that everything we do is infused with the energy of which we do it, because I often say that. And in relation to this, it's like if you are afraid, then you will infuse everything you do with that fear. So it's worth bearing that in mind. So I just wrote a few bits down from Celtic Folklore, The People of the Mounds article on the sea, L. MacDonald from 1993. The belief among the Celtic people of an invisible realm inhabited by otherworldly beings known as the sea, or good people, fairies, was once common throughout the Celtic countries in localised forms. The sea are considered to be a distinct race quite separate to human beings. Many writers maintain that the people of Ireland and their gods are the ancestors of the sea. And they go on to embrace the Tuatha De Danann and then, Morrigan myths and things like that. So the connection between Fae and Morrigan and my path, the Celtic path, is there. And like I said, there has been a lot of Fae imagery coming up this week, but because I've been quite ill, I haven't been able to fully explore it. Yeah, I just note there that I've been feeling quite ill and it's been dragging me down a little bit. Thinking about the spell work this week, I've already published the spell for this week. As I've been sick and the messages have been varied, Nirvana, Nematona, War, Sacred Grove, Sexuality, Fate, etc. All, I suppose, connected with the possibility of fear and doubt, because Fae can be quite scary, particularly the darker side of Fae. Decided to go with the Ring of the Sacred Grove to connect with deity, sacred space, to hear the whispers of the gods, because when all else fails, when all else leaves you feeling alone and afraid, the gods are there to talk to you. And the following things were important. Obsidian was one of the crystals for Nirvana, protection, fire, prized for its ability to make tools, mirrors, jewellery and weapons, weapons being the war side of Nirvana and Nematona, blocks negativity of any kind, and self-control and resilience and strength. We've got something here. Moss agate. There's tree agate here, and moss agate either works perfectly well. Speaking to me this week, possibly for Nematona, although I didn't see that in any references, but it just spoke to me. Attracts abundance in all forms, new beginnings, grounding, clearing, personal space, and personal energy. So it clears space and self. And then the spirit stone for communicating with the divine, hearing those divine whispers. For my sake, it would be smoky quartz. Hawthorn leaf is connected with Nematona, cleanses the heart of negativity and stimulates love and forgiveness. Tree of enchantment under the protection of the realms of the Fae. So going back to that Fae connection. And the spell, which is already on the channel, as well as the Sacred Grove blend. And then last but not least, there were a couple of messages this morning, but I will read them, but I don't know if they're going to be for the next Ogham, which I haven't yet pulled. Raven dark, black as pitch, mystical as the moon, speak to me of magic and I will fly with you soon. The Smart Witch, you are the key, Old Crone's Corner. Touch the Stars was on Facebook, as was As You Wish. And then last but not least is the poem for this Ogham, which is mine. It's my intellectual property. I wrote it. All rights reserved. I am Eadha. I am the grey, balance of light and dark, so fear does not hold sway. I am the sacred grove among the trees, here divine whispers upon the breeze. So look within, I'll be your guide, from underworld to glory shall we ride. Joanne Morris, 2014. So there we go. It's been a little bit of a strained week for interpreting messages. I felt quite cut off with being quite unwell for the latter half of the week particularly. It's given me a chance to sit and write things down and write some ideas out and get some new ideas that I can then act upon. But having spent a lot of the week in bed or with it's been quite unfortunate because I got quite ill and it was in my ears, and given this week was supposed to be hearing messages from the gods, I was like, not going to be hearing them with my ears. So looking for symbolism instead. So it's about it was possibly about getting through that illness and still finding some of the messages. So, you know, still journeying on. So that's it for this week, and many blessings.